Terror stalks the streets of London. The most dreaded monster of them all strikes again, and panic sweeps the city. But two men of intrepid daring fight back. Bud Abbott and Lou Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, co-starring Boris Karloff, twice as menacing as ever. Terror becomes turmoil, and the laughs get terrific when Bud and Lou trap the beast among a bevy of beauties and get lost in a house of horrors that would frighten even Frankenstein.
Come on, come on! Come on, will you? We can catch the monster. Give me a hand. Come on.
It'll scare you right out of your theater seat. Bud Abbott and Lou Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. An uproarious riot from beginning to end.
All right, guys, we are here with Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is 1953, once again 2 years after the last horror installment of Abbott and Costello. So Boris Karloff plays Dr. Henry Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and there's other people in this movie. So the storyline is Slim and Tubby, who are Abbott and Costello, are American cops in London to study police tactics. They wind up in jail and are bailed out by Dr. Jekyll. Jekyll has been murdering fellow doctors who laugh at his experiments. That's all it takes, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
He has more murders in mind. At one point, the serum that turns Jekyll into the murderous Hyde gets injected into Tubby. What really happens is there's a women's movement, and Dr. Jekyll's, I guess he's taking care of this girl since she was a kid. I don't know what happened to her parents. So now she's like a woman. She's like 30. And there's like...
She's hot.
She's hot. She's into women's rights, and so am I. You have the right to fuck me. No, I was kidding. No,
unless it's period.
Unless you're on your period. Then this newspaper reporter is hitting on her, and they both fall for each other rather quickly.
Yeah, I'll say.
Very quickly. And Dr. Jekyll is peeved about this because he actually believes that he has a chance. He has a chance with a dime piece. At this point, Boris Karloff is like 80 years old or something.
Yeah.
And he really believes that he was always... like, if you really think you have a chance with this girl, like, why wouldn't you have tried this at 22 or 25? Why is she so old and you still have not made your move? What are you waiting for?
Right.
I'd say it's the formula. You know what I mean? It's corrupting him. It's making him have evil thoughts.
Yeah, good call. Like maybe he never felt that way before, or maybe he felt that way, but he said, well, it's obviously a pipe dream. I'm not going to get with this chick.
Right.
But, yeah, maybe the formula and all that fucked up his mind, and he, yeah.
Not to mention he's like a father figure to her, and that's just creepy.
Right.
Yeah, what is she, Sun Yi?
He's like, I've been in love with you since you were a little girl. Okay, that's creepy.
Okay, Woody Allen, what's going on?
Exactly, man.
Yeah, it's fucked.
It's funny. So, yeah, that's the overall thing. Now, there are issues here.
Yeah, there are.
The one glaring omission here, Dr. Jekyll, the point of Dr. Jekyll is that he's a nice, normal guy. And only when you inject him with serum does he become someone even willing to kill anybody. It shouldn't even be on his mind until he does this. But in this movie, Dr. Jekyll is already a very fucking cynical guy who just seems to look for an excuse to actually act. He wants to kill people anyway because you laughed at me, or you want to fuck my girl, this girl I want to marry and shit like that, or marry her, believe it or not. And then, so I'm just going to inject myself so that as a monster, I have the power to do this. It doesn't even play to the actual character of Dr. Jekyll.
Well,
properly.
it does in a way, because if you follow that story, okay, this thing starts off with it saying that this madman has been running around. He's killed a few people. He's gone around and he's been running around killing. Everybody's afraid of it. Everybody's worried about this, which means he's been doing this for a while. In the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, through using this serum multiple times, it is physically corrupting his mind.
Okay.
He's becoming closer to this darker side, even when he's not transformed because he's delving into it so much. So this is at a later point. You know, he's an older looking guy at this point, so it's at that phase.
Okay.
You get firsthand knowledge that he's been doing this for a while, thanks to a bum named Exposition that they meet in the very beginning of the film, when he's just like wakes up the bum and he's like, oh, and he starts telling him like, oh, this monster's been terrorizing the city and no one knows who it is and they haven't been, and I'm like, hello, Exposition, why?
Matter of fact, there's a women's rights movement right over there. My wife's there.
And then the guy has a normal. He just leans on his own knee and says, "Yeah, I know. He's been killing a lot of people around here. That sure he is, but he's not as crazy as my wife. She wonders where the fuck. So you guys both just sleep in the park?"
Well, that's not even the beginning of the problems I have with this movie, though. One of the first one being that Abbott and Costello don't even show up until 6 minutes and 55 seconds into this film. Right. And that's because I was timing going, where the fuck is Abbott and Costello? Where are Abbott and Costello? Where? And then I'm like, you know what, Brian, when they finally show up, give me a timestamp. 6:55, they show up. But only for like a minute, because then they get thrown in jail and we don't see them again for a whole bunch of other time. In fact, throughout the entire runtime of this movie, they're in it for 49 minutes and change.
What, were you have a stopwatch with you?
I did. I was stopwatching whenever I did. I pulled the exact same thing. I pulled the exact same thing I did with Pinhead in the later installments of Hellraiser. I was running a stopwatch, and every time they were on the screen, I was hitting it. And because they were absent for a huge chunks of this movie. Now, toward when they finally started doing the them looking for the monster and all that, then they were in it for significant amounts of time. But in the beginning of this film, they were nowhere to be seen. There was that horrible musical number that we had in the beginning with the suffragettes, which doesn't make any sense at all, because hey, we want to give women the vote. Look at our legs.
Exactly.
Right.
That makes no sense. So that really horrible. And even if it did make sense, the musical number itself was really bad. Like her voice, the voice dubbing for that was terrible.
But did you hear what they were saying when they were dancing around? Basically saying, okay, no more kisses, no more hugs, no more rubs, no more this, unless you vote us to have equal rights.
Wow.
Right, it goes against everything they're trying to fucking stand up.
Right, it's like, see these legs swinging around here? You want to fuck this, right? Well, unless you vote us equal rights, you can't have any.
And how about that musical segment they go into? Holy fuck.
Oh, man, I just forward that shit now. Like, dude, you think
it's
that's
just so funny, It is out of nowhere.
Try watching regular Abbott and Costello movies. They have these fucking Andrews sisters in every one of their goddamn movies, dude.
Really?
Man, I love the Andrews sisters.
I like the Andrews sisters myself.
Right.
Not the 50th time you watch a movie.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
No, their music. I love their music, but
sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to interrupt a movie for 7 minutes with it, though.
I don't know, they did it here. And then we've got we get this entire huge plot going on with the chick and the newspaper guy, and they're falling in love in about 7 minutes, and then they're going to get married the next day. And then by the time we get through all of the stuff with the monster and Abbott Costello and all that at the end, that plot point is completely tossed out the window.
Right.
It just doesn't even matter.
Yes, it does. What are you talking about? The plot point of him being with the chick? That's the whole ending.
It's not. It comes back in the end, but it's like it's for the entire middle of the movie. They disappear.
But so what?
Because it doesn't. I mean, which just goes to show it didn't have to be there to begin with.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
What? Jamie, Are you sure you're not looking for problems?
I want to like these movies. I have no problem with that. This one was just a huge disappointment to me because I felt like everything, even their names were cheap. They couldn't even come up with good names. So there's like, yeah, whatever, Slim and Tubby. We don't have time for that. I felt like they used the same lab that they used in Meet Frankenstein. They used the same wax museum that they used in Meet Frankenstein. I feel like there was no budget put into this, no care, like they just didn't give a shit, and they were being as lazy as they possibly could about the entire thing, and that's how it comes off to me.
Wow.
They had nice set pieces.
They ditched the animation in the beginning, and you get a still photo.
That was shitty. Yeah, I agree. The beginning of this was nothing like the others. It was
I see this one more like a Boris Karloff vehicle. Basically.
I do too, and to me, it felt like the Abbott and Costello were just sort of thrown in there, because even when we get into you get some of the same gags, like with he sees the monster, Abbott doesn't see the monster, and then you know that's gonna be there because that's who they are. But then beyond that, I just felt like it was like they were tacked on. Like I don't know. The whole thing seemed like a mess to me. Like it just didn't seem as cleverly written, as cleverly portrayed. I don't know. I mean, the other films to me were much higher quality, and this one just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, the effects were shitty too.
Oh my God, the dissolves in this were so bad.
They were tremendous.
Every time he would change into Hyde, and every time when Costello would change into the mouse. Yeah. You know?
I thought that was a cat. I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's every time they would do those dissolves, it was like they didn't even give a shit. You could see. From one dissolve into the next, you could see them layering on top of one another. When in previous films, when they did that with the Wolfman, and it was beautiful, it was seamless.
It made for a funny scene, though, that rabbit or whatever the fuck it was when he went into the bar, and it made for a good 10 minutes.
What is this mouse doing with us?
You're right. It made for a good 10 minutes. Yeah, it was a good segment, definitely. It's not I'm not shitting on the movie. It's not a total loss. It just wasn't on the par as the other ones. That's all.
I mean, it had its funny moments. It did. It is not anywhere near the quality of the other ones, in my opinion.
No, it's a step down.
I kind of enjoyed the whole thing after Costello ends up getting injected about 5 times in the ass. He changes, and he's running around town, and you got the person at the police station collecting all these reports of where it is, and he's just putting these pins all over the place. He's over here, now he's over here, now he's over here, and just basically getting all frustrated by that. I enjoyed that stuff.
He looked like fucking Rocky Dennis looking where he's going to ride his Harleys.
Right.
You're so stupid, Ben. Fucking weirdo. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see what Jamie's... I think it's nice that Jamie would like more Abbott and Costello, but I don't know. I mean, I am locked into what's happening here. I'm not really, wondering...
Call me crazy for wanting more Abbott and Costello in my Abbott and Costello movie. I guess I'm just a nut.
I think 50 minutes is a lot. I don't know.
Well, not when they don't show up for the first 7.
Well, maybe that just got into your head that it took long to start it, so then all of a sudden you were sort of preoccupied with, well, where are they?
Yeah, but even then we saw them for like a minute, and I was being generous. I gave them a minute and a half, but that was way over how much time we spent with them in that first segment. And then they ended up in jail, and we didn't see them again for a whole bunch of time.
I mean,
so it was just big gaps with no Abbott and Costello.
This film started the way it should have. It started with Jack the Ripper. Not Jack the Ripper. The hell am I talking about? Dr. Jekyll out there killing somebody. And then that's the way this film should have worked. That's how it should have started. But once again, it goes way too long before they're introduced into this thing.
He just went up to him, touched his neck, and then the guy fell and he was dead.
Right.
And then that was the newest murder that was in the newspaper.
Right. That's how this film should have started. And so it started how it should have.
Right.
It's just introducing them, the main fucking characters to this movie, took 20 fucking years.
Wow, I never thought about that.
It did. I mean, it took way too long, and then when you finally see them, you don't get much time with them, and they seem inconsequential at that moment. They seem like background characters. When they show up for the first time as cops, they seem like they're...
Right, at that time.
Like, they're background characters at that point, and you're not focusing on
But that's cool, because you're in their... This is just things going on in their life.
That's not cool, because it's not their life that we're watching. It's somebody else that we're watching, and I want them.
And they don't really affect the story, really. Every time they try to bring something to someone's attention, they would go check it out, and it wouldn't be there anymore.
But that's classic,
right? So
and in the end, they weren't even the ones to catch the monster. So I even said that when we watched this. I even said, look, so basically, what I'm taking away from this is that their presence in this film meant nothing at all as far as the plot went. They were completely unimportant.
Right,
Dave, do you feel this way?
I feel that way to a degree. I don't think that it did bother me, yes, because it's an obvious shift in tone from the 3 previous, and it's just a change because Just like, they're not there in the beginning. The other ones focused around them. In the first 5 minutes, we were introduced to them and this and that. It's hard to explain, but it's like Jamie said. They come in for a minute, and then they're taken away, then they're brought back. I personally, for me, there was good moments of comedy and things like that, but they felt like a little bit more of an afterthought.
But is that what you're really supposed to be thinking about? Aren't you supposed to be watching what's happening in the movie, though?
Well, check it out. What was happening in the movie wasn't pulling me in.
Really?
I don't know if it
Boris
was...
Karloff scenes were not pulling you in.
I didn't understand why this guy, the Jekyll and Hyde character that I knew, was someone that, like you said at the beginning, he didn't want to be bad. He was a good guy, and then the Hyde took over, and he went and did these things. I didn't understand why he was evil to begin with and what he was doing. There's no sympathy towards him. So who are you supposed to be sympathetic for in the plot? There's no one you pull for. It isn't the same as the other ones were. It just I didn't have the same feel. Granted, when Abbott and Costello are on the screen, for the most part, they're the same old Abbott and Costello. They're fine. They had some good gags. It was good. It just seemed like less of that. And maybe I'm just not into that. There was really nice set pieces, okay? But maybe I'm just not into that type of, I don't know what you want to call it, old Victorian horror. It's not my cup of tea. I know a lot of people love that shit. It doesn't really resonate with me. Maybe one day it will as I get older. I don't know. I am not as passionate about that as I am, I don't know, other types of horror. And this scene is just different. Look at the other places we saw them. The boxing thing and the thing with the gangsters or whoever, a murder mystery in the other one, and everything, all the monsters in part one, they were much more intriguing than...
Wow, I loved this. I loved London. I loved Dr. Jekyll's house. I loved the bar scene. I loved the wax museum. I loved the fucking rooftop shit. I loved the fucking the place where they do their plays. I love that shit. Like, I can't believe that you guys are saying this. Like, those are such amazing set pieces.
Yes, they were.
And 2 of those set pieces had already been used in a previous film.
Yeah, but so what?
And it
brings you back there. They brought it back.
That may have been nice if I was watching a film strictly about Jekyll and Hyde, but I wasn't. I was watching Abbott and Costello meet Jekyll and Hyde. I want more Abbott and Costello. I just came off 3 previous films where we got filled to the brim with the comedy joy that I get from Abbott and Costello. And here I felt totally robbed. This is not what I wanted. This is not what it should have been, and they felt like an afterthought.
Karloff, Jamie, when he's like, well, once blah blah drove you around, once he could drive you all over the rest of London and see all the rest of you.
That was funny.
Yeah,
I laughed out loud at that.
It's so
I did.
uncomfortable.
That was funny.
Alex, I like the wax museum bit. I like that whole segment. That was good. And the whole thing with when he got turned into that whatever the fuck, the mouse.
Right.
That was funny too.
So funny, and especially when he's like, "Look, Mousehole, that's what you must have drank." It was classic.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was great. I love that.
And he kept getting him drunk and stuff. But okay, so let's get to the wax museum. There's a really important issue here. It depends how into this you are. Like, you got to be fucking way into it, like I am, to give a shit. And you guys might after I kind of bring it to your attention. Now, it's a big deal who plays Frankenstein in every movie. Mm-hmm. Now, I always wondered who the fuck was playing Frankenstein. You can no longer say he's a wax figure because he's moving.
Yeah, his legs are moving, right?
Some actor played him, and oddly enough, the lightning didn't even like go zzz. He actually moved like a second before it actually did that. So
right.
That was pretty funny. So
that's one of my what the fuck moments. Okay, a wax statue can walk when it gets electrocuted.
Right. So I looked far and wide. There is no record of who played this fucking character, but somebody found something. Okay. Who was the actor masquerading as the monster this time? The man's name, unfortunately, was not included in the cast lists compiled at Universal. The late film historian George Turner tentatively identified the actor as a bit player named Chuck Hamilton. George's memory is always like spot on. He almost never makes a mistake. That's who it is. So anyway, I thought one flaw Jamie was going to point out is that Boris Karloff in no fucking way was this goddamn monster when he was the monster.
No fucking way.
It's actually a guy named Eddie Parker. He also played the Mummy in Abbott Costello Meet the Mummy, and he doubled for Lon Chaney when he was the Mummy in all 3 of those movies. Eddie Parker was the double whenever things got too crazy. So that's who played him once he became the monster. But here's the fucking what the fuck moment. So Dr. Jekyll, Costello tricks him. He locks him in the jail cell inside of the wax museum. They go out. It's the old gag. Nobody sees it except for Costello. They come back. It's Dr. Jekyll now. He's like, "You idiot! You locked up one of the most, well-known guys, the most respected citizen, blah, blah." So he goes, "It is the monster. Just look at the ring." And he goes, "I wear no ring." Blah, blah, blah. Okay. The ring is what we're going to identify. Like, you're claiming that there was a monster here. It is now Dr. Jekyll. But because you saw a ring on his hand, if Dr. Jekyll holds his hand up and there's a ring there, you're right, Tubby. That is the monster. You're right. We're locking him up. Holy shit. And so, number one, what the fuck kind of logic is that even? That is ridiculous. Number two, how did Dr. Jekyll know to hide the ring? How did he know he would even notice it?
See, that's exactly what I thought too. And when would he have noticed it? Like, if this monster is chasing you, are you going to stop and go, "Oh, look at that ring"?
Right. It is just makes no sense at all. Jekyll, this guy and this girl only known each other for one day, and they decide they want to get married now. And Dr. Jekyll, confesses that he wants to marry her. He's been in love with her all this time. She cannot go with any other guy. So then he goes to inject himself right in front of it. And here's the other thing. Dr. Jekyll injects himself as the monster. How does he just leave his house and go running around town to go kill everybody? Nobody sees him?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you inject yourself right before you, at their house in the backyard, do it? And then just go right into their house? Like, how do you make it through town and travel all over as this monster?
Well, didn't you see him? He was ducking into alleyways and hiding behind walls and using his cape, much like Dracula did.
Yeah, it's not too suspicious.
No one would notice anything like that.
No, that's perfectly normal.
I'd walk right past him.
Yeah. So, all the panic ensues. Everybody shows up. Abby gets stabbed in the ass with the fucking needle. Now he is Mr. Hyde, and Mr. Hyde is Mr. Hyde. They're running around, a big chase. We get some more comedy. That's it. I mean, and then Dr. Jekyll goes to climb up a wall into a window, falls to his death, dies. Costello gets brought to the police. He says, "I found the monster." He goes, "Oh, this will get you back on the force if you did." He bites all the other police, and then all of a sudden, they show him, and it's just Costello. He's like, "You idiot, blah, blah, I shouldn't have listened to you." They turn around, and everybody's now a Mr. Hyde.
Which makes no fucking sense.
No.
Did they get an injection from his teeth? No.
Is it?
It's not fucking rabies.
And it's not a vampire.
Right.
Or a werewolf, for that matter.
Or a zombie.
Or anything that works for.
So that's another stretch for an end gag. Now it's 2 in a row. They did that for Invisible Man. They did that for this, and I think in the next movie there's another gag.
Yeah, at least his legs were on the right way.
Yeah. This music, again, was stolen from Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein, but this time it works perfect.
It works well with it, yeah.
Way better than the other one.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, yeah.
So I'm curious, Ryan, what do you think about this? What's your rating?
I've got some issues with this one. Not too many, it's just I wanted more Abbott and Costello in my Abbott and Costello movie. I enjoy Karloff in this film. I really like him. Whenever I see him on screen, I dig him. But I think it's a significant step down from what's come before it. I don't think this is a bad movie, and this might be one of those movies, if I watch it a few more times, I might like it even more. But at this point, I'd say 3.5.
Jamie, I'm afraid to ask.
You should be. Okay, when Abbott and Costello were on the screen, they were being themselves, and they were funny. There were some funny moments. I really did laugh out loud at the carriage scene where Karloff is like, so he's like, yeah, oh, that sounds great. So then I'm sure my driver won't mind driving you around the rest of London so you can see all your other friends.
Right.
That was funny. I enjoy Karloff. I enjoy London. I enjoy the Gothic feel. However, did not feel like your average Abbott and Costello film to me. I just don't think that there was. I mean, you heard all the bitching I had about it before. Consequently, I found it kind of a slog. I found it really difficult to stay interested to the end, and so that lands me at about a 2.5.
What?
Yeah, I really just don't like it.
Wow. Dave, God, I feel like... Can we just skip this segment? No, just kidding. All right, go ahead. What do you think,
we said
Dave?
Our good. We said our good and we said our bad, and I said the same thing. There's good and there's bad. The good, there's too little of the good. That's the problem. They're not around enough, and the bits just there isn't enough like there is in the other movies. They're just it's lacking a little bit there. Now it's probably a little. My personal tastes are going to figure in a little bit because I've never been a big fan of like the gothic horror and that type of stuff. It's just not. It's never resonated with me. I wish it did. I wish I loved all aspects of horror equally. Unfortunately, I don't. It's never really been my thing. And the Jekyll and Hyde thing has never really interested me. So going into it, I was like, well, okay. Abbott and Costello will probably save it. I don't care so much about Jekyll and Hyde, but whatever. All in all, it's okay. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not like the other ones were. So it's a step down, and I actually am giving it the same rating as Jamie, 2.5.
Woo!
Cop out.
Yeah, the cop-out of all things. Yep.
Wow.
You know why? Because Abbott and Costello were good, but the other stuff, not as good.
Really? You don't really think it was good? Wow.
I just don't get into the plot like I did with the other ones. I wasn't...
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Well...
I probably won't watch it again.
Wow.
I will, however, watch the David Hasselhoff stage performance of Jekyll and Hyde again. If you guys haven't seen that, that is awesome.
I have seen it.
Wow. I'm just shocked to hear all this. It's disappointing because, I understand. There's not many laughs. There's not many scares, quote unquote. I don't know. I love the atmosphere. I love the settings. I love the scenes in the playhouse. I love the scenes. I love Dr. Jekyll's house. I love that whole feeling. Wow, it's hard to say. I mean, I was literally going to give this a 4.5.
Wow.
So give it a 4.5.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys kind of messed my head up or something. Like,
if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. That's all that matters.
I really do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've seen it so many times. And plus, I love all of Karloff's scenes. I thought he did great. I love the music, how it worked with this, and I really saw it that way this time, how it fits so much better than the other movie. Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5, and I'll do that with the acknowledgement that you guys are right on some aspects, that yes, it's not the same, and there are things lacking, but I don't know. I guess I'm just really into those two guys, and I'm really into Karloff. And all that, so yeah, that's.
I'm really into them too. I wish they were in it.
I don't know. All right. So there you go. This is a very, I guess it depends on whose opinion you normally go with. So there you go. We'll be right back as Abbott and Costello wrap it up, no pun intended, with Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, the final Abbott and Costello Meet a Monster. Yeah, final chapter of this whole saga. So we'll be right back after that.